leadership is completely lacking. I want to tell you another story about the leader we have. When I moved to Summit County, I had an interview with Bruce. And I know I lost the interview when I told him I need discretion over my cases and to really assess it. I mean, there's a reason we've had a 200% staff turnaround and no one sticks around. And 2 years later, after we'd had 3 or 4 DDAs go through, I've gained the respect of my judges, I've gained the respect of the community. I have clients knocking on my door because of my reputation. And I think at that point, out of 7 trials, I had lost 1. We had another deputy district attorney going out the door. So I decided, and there's no way I was going to work for Bruce, but I wanted to see what kind of leader he was. I applied for the job again. I don't have the housing issue. I don't have the financial issues. I'm established. He didn't even give me the time of day. That's not a leader. So it's just frustrating to keep my cool and listen to this. But I know I'm in a room where everyone is in the know about the issues. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Tyra Welch, former Deputy District Attorney here, worked in Eagle County for a number of years. My question is for Mr. Brown. You complained today about how adversarial this is and how this isn't necessarily fair. It's big city politics. My question for you is, how have you led by example? When you called a bunch of devoted prosecutors, a bunch of hacks, people like Mr. Angel and myself and his older brother, Mr. Angel, and numerous others who committed their lives to being prosecutors, and instead you came in and said that we were all a bunch of hacks, and instead hired a bunch of defense attorneys.
So that's your word, not
No,
mine.
actually you said it in Clear Creek County.
It's your word.
You said a bunch of hacks. They can have a lot of.
Let's give Mr. Brown an opportunity.
Okay. I was critical of the office. I was critical of Mr. Hurlbert and Mr. Turner. I was never critical of the individual attorneys, though I had problems with those individual attorneys. But I did view it as more of a leadership issue. How have I led by example? You know, when I get up in the morning and when I go to these offices, the first thing I do is I talk to each and every staff member, and the words are basically, how can I help you? What are you up to today? And in the courtroom, you know, I've done pretty well, and I've been able to identify cases that are important cases and issues to the community. To me, when we talk about things like sex assault, and I have gone down to the legislature, and not only, you know, Tyra, you're rude. You shake your head east and west. It's rude. It's embarrassing to you more than it is to me.
It isn't, because.
Well, I don't want to get too much of a dialogue here. Let Mr. Brown refine and we'll do it.
I've gone down to the legislature numerous times, including on bills that were intended to impose specific conditions on every person charged with a sex offense. It was a bill that was carried by Millie Hamner in 2015 that I co-wrote. And what that does is not just in this district. It means if you are arrested on a sex offense, you have to see the judge before you can post bond, so that the prosecutor can articulate and the judge can impose conditions that are specific and tailored to the circumstance of the individual sex offender. So for example, if they're using the internet, that they can't be around computers. If it's a child sex crime, that they're going to be separated from children. To me, that's not just leadership on a local level, that's leadership statewide. And I've been down to the legislature many times. I'm going to go back down there again next year when we try to harmonize fourth-time DUI defendants getting no jail time, while third-time DUI defendants convicted only of misdemeanors have to serve a mandatory of 60 days. I've lectured again and again and again to the Colorado District Attorney's Council, to every law enforcement agency in this district, on laws, on jury selection, on cross-examination. So I think across the board, what you have to see is that the DA's job is very broad, and it just doesn't happen in the courtroom, it happens in a whole, many different communities. And frankly, I'm proud of what I've done.
I don't want to leave this as just a question for Mr. Brown, so I want to ask Sonnenalp first and Bruce second. How would you lead differently?
Well, the first thing I want to address was the end note on that, because this is a perfect example of a scare tactic. We're all attorneys in here, and we all seen these DA5 Yeah, there's no mandatory minimum, but there isn't a single judge in this district that won't give less than 6 months. So for Bruce to kind of say, yeah, the legislature did set a mandatory minimum, and the mandatory minimum on a DUI third is 60, and oh no, on a fourth they can walk free. That's just not the case, Bruce. I mean, give our judges some respect and credit. Give this audience some respect and credit. And how would I do things different? I would be a good leader. I would surround myself with staff that I trust, with staff that knows what they're doing, and I would trust that staff to make the right decision. I wouldn't micromanage every case. I would put efforts into bringing restorative justice. I would bring efforts into starting an advocacy group, like I said, for mental health, for our vets. I would bring public awareness as to the success story of these drug courts and DUI courts and problem-solving courts, so we can have more of them and more public support of those programs. It's really difficult when I know some of the biggest critics of Bruce are victims advocates and victim services and victim coordinators. I mean, this isn't just the defense bar complaining. This is the victims complaining. This is the families complaining. And I've never sat in Mr. Brown's seat. I don't know what it's like, and I don't know at what point you lose all dignity and all respect for people's lives in the judicial system. But I honestly wrote a letter to myself, reminding myself of why I did this, why I'm running, why I sit here before you, so I don't ever lose sight of that. Because at the end of the day, I want to go back to my practice. And I want to make this about the people and collaborative effort. Right now, we're in a system where there is a problem. When you knock on Heidi's door and Bruce's door, you're in a worse off position. I want a collaborative effort, and that collaborative effort is missing. Criticism is not taken well, and there is just a complete lack of leadership. If a 200% staff turnaround doesn't tell you there's a lack of leadership, I don't know what would. And you can blame it on housing, and you can blame it on money, but at the end of the day, we have a great public defender's office, and they've been there throughout the years. At the end of the day, you have someone like me who's established and who applies, and doesn't even get the time of day. You have someone like Rusty Prindle, who is so respected in our community, and anyone that knows him, who said, I'd rather move than to lose my integrity. Because if Bruce can explain to me why I'm destroying lives, I would stay. So I would leave. I would have an open door. I want a collaborative effort. I want a correct approach. And I can't do it alone.
Bruce, Jerry, how would you exercise leadership in this office?
I would lead by example. I remember a couple of years ago when Rosh Hashanah, Lauren Butler was at work, and she's Jewish. And Mr. Brown took the day off. And he took the day off last week. He always gets his first. He takes 6.5 weeks vacation. He gets his first. I'd take 2 weeks. I learned in the United States Army, when I was a sergeant, that you lead by example. My men ate first, and then I ate. I would bring the same work ethic to the DA's office. I worked for 14 years at the Beaver Creek Nordic Center. I am Episcopalian by birth, but I worked Christmas Day every year so that people with families could have the day off. I thought that was fair. We would have a ceremony Christmas Eve, a dinner, and then I would go up to work. I'd get up at 6 and be at work at 8 at Beaver Creek and guide nature walks on snowshoes. And that was just the way it was, because I don't have children. I thought it was important that employees with children get the day off. I think that you lead by example throughout your life. And if it is you first, that is the example that you set. And then your employees learn that and resent it in you. And then they leave at a 200% turnover rate.
Yeah. Mr. Brown, Tim O'Brien. I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, if you could expand on the county car that you totaled last December, and how you managed to escape any and all scrutiny in the press that I know of.
You know, let me interrupt that question, because what we're really talking about is policy, not individual accusations. It's really not fair to direct a question to one individual that the others cannot respond to. So respectfully, I'm going to move on to the next question.
Is this been a public forum?
It is a public forum, but it's really a policy debate, not a first contact. Do you have anything else out in the audience here? Dwight?
Yeah, I have a question about what's the role of the elected district attorney in running the office of the district attorney's office? What would you do as elected district attorney running the office, the business part of it?
What is that? I don't know who's that.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll lead that. If you're talking about the business part, I'm guessing you're talking about, we got a couple issues. We got issues of financing right now. What I see is Wendy running everything, and I really don't know what qualifications she has to do the accounting for this office and to manage so much of taxpayer money. That's something I would definitely address. The second issue I would address is this concept of charitable contributions. There is a complete lack of transparency when it comes to these funds and money. And I know my campaign manager has requested them and has been denied access because of lack of payment, except every time we try to get it, the money is different. I think there needs to be great transparency when you're taking money from defendants, and in one press release you're saying, oh, we gave back 30,000. In another one you're saying we gave back 40,000, and then we raised 70,000. So where's the rest of the money? So I think there needs to be a lot of management into the financing of the office and the transparency into that. Second, I think there needs to be management into the staffing. Again, what's lost on this office is I think Bruce has forgotten what it was like to be an employee and to have respect for your employees and to trust them to do the right thing. And nothing has come out of the micromanagement that's been occurring. I have DDAs that want to do the right thing, but can't because their jobs will be jeopardized or they'll get chewed out. So that's, and I think that's another reason we take up so much of the court's time in these motion practices, because honestly, if they dismiss a case and see the constitutional violations, they'll get chewed out. So we're left with no recourse but the court, so I think there needs to be correct management of the office. I would like to see management of this discovery issue that we have. I found out from a detective within one of the agencies, again, I don't want to talk about which and who, that the reason we were having all these New World problems, which is a discovery, I guess, website, is because there wasn't a system in place that when law enforcement went and uploaded the documents, that the DA's office would go check those files and get it to the defense bar. And it wasn't until, we're up for motions or trial that a deputy would go look at the file and realize, oh, we didn't get something. So there needs to be better management of discovery issues. And I gotta tell you, to have a serious crime dismissed because of a discovery violation is just egregious. To have a violent criminal get away with it. And, that's what's scary to me. Or to have someone's liberty at issue and to have the very definition of exculpatory evidence withheld because there's no management of the office. That's egregious. So I think there needs to be better staff training. Last year, the DA's office spent $2,200 on advertising, and it took me a while to realize our advertising for new new employees, and they spend $2,500 on training. I blame management for that. There's a reason the ball is dropped. There's a lack of training, lack of giving your deputies and your staff the, I guess, the discretion they need. And when you take away that discretion, resources are just stretched so thin. So no wonder the ball gets dropped on these big cases. So I think it's all around, and there is a definite cleanup effort that needs to be made.
Bruce Brown?
So it was interesting, I went from private practice managing me to an office that now has 37 employees, including 15 attorneys. And it's been quite a challenge. I think we do very well, and it does require the DA to make out the budget. The budgets are actually approved by the 4 counties, each of their commissions. And I do write the budget. I do it in connection with the financial administrator as well as the assistant district attorney. And then I go and I talk to all of the 4 commissions in order to get the budget approved. You know, one of the things I think it's interesting to point out is that, first of all, Sanam has 7 years as an attorney, 2 years traveling around the world, and I think she would be very challenged by the complexity of cases, not to mention the day-to-day management of an office, which is rather challenging. Bruce wants to have a caseload in one court. I assume that's going to be down the street from his home in Eagle County, which is great for Eagle County, maybe, neglecting Summit, Lake, and Clear Creek. But it's just not very practical given the administrative requirements of an office with a budget that's north of $3.5 million. Turnover, I told you at the beginning, one of the first words out of my mouth was, this was a hospital takeover. This was a definite disagreement I had with the administration, and I think that the deputies felt that it was time for